Today's press conference officially starts, and please feel free to raise your questions, dear friends from the press. Dear friends from the press, good afternoon. Please feel free to raise questions. I'm from TDM. The government is talking about streamlining administration, and in the policy address, you also mentioned about work in this aspect. Talking about setting up municipal affairs system. When would you reach your goal? And do you have a timetable for that? Thank you very much for your question. First of all, the fourth term of government of SAR follows the principle that I indicated when I presented my campaign platform, which is with concerted effort, we establish and enjoy prosperity. We will very carefully review our administration efficiency and our civil service. Therefore, in this policy address, we indicate reviewing the civil service system, enhancing administrative efficiency, enhancing governance. And I'm very happy to take this opportunity to explain to you what we are going to do. And that is actually what our team aims at achieving. We want to control our budget within an adequate range to make sure that we will not significantly increase our budget. As for our civil service, we are going to take a pragmatic approach. One aspect is what you had indicated, streamlining administration. We are going to activate our work this year. And that is for the entire framework of Macau SAR civil service. On the other hand, we also need to make sure that the SAR government service is adequate. It meets the need of the Macau public. So this year, we are looking at these two aspects. And one is healthcare, and the other one is public security. And that we are going to increase personnel. However, in other aspects, we are not. So we are going to adhere to the principle of streamlining administration. We very much hope that as we present our next policy address in November this year, we are going to give you more details. But our overall goal is to control our overall budget, and also we'll be taking a very strict approach as we increase the number of personnel. And all these are to achieve the goal of enhancing governance efficiency and to serve our public better, the Macau public better. As for municipal affairs, and that is in line with basic law, so we can actually establish such a system. In the fourth term, as we enter a fourth term of governance, relevant work is going to start this year. We are going to promulgate relevant measures in due course, and that is going to be it. And our Secretary for Public Administration is going to take charge of this work. I'm from Macau Daily. Macau Daily. In your policy address, you said you're going to adjust the overall plan for the 5 pieces of reclaimed land. And how is it going to relate to the public housing project? Public housing is something that you pay lots of attention to. And the fourth government is going to continue to increase the supply of public housing. On the one hand, we are going to review the law for ownership scheme, and we're going to make amendment to it. And after that, we are going to review public housing law. And during the last term of government, we had already looked at this issue, and we are going to do an overall review related to public housing. And this year, we are going to work out more laws related to public housing. And these are all to meet the need of the Macau public. As for supply, we're going to take 3 approaches. First, the central government gives support to Macau SAO's scheme of land reclamation. 28,000 units of public housing will be built on the new reclaimed land, and these are all supported by the central government. At the same time, in the near future, I believe the Secretary for Transport and Public Work is going to give you more details about the 4,000 public housing units construction on the reclaimed land. And the third aspect, and that is about idle land. As I delivered my policy address, and I had already received the report from the Secretary for Transport and Public Work. According to the report, we are going to reclaim the idle land, the land that's been given to contractors, developers, still not developed. Macau respects jurisdiction independence, so we need to abide by law. So I do not exclude the possibility that we would go to court. In the end, I'm going to follow the proposal submitted by the Secretary for Public Work and Transport and follow his recommendation, and I'm going to activate the work to reclaim idle land. We attach great importance to building public housing. And the other thing I want to share with you, actually the procedure can be long. And how many applicants are actually eligible? We also need to look into it. Enhancing administration efficiency is very important. And all these are to solve the housing problem for the Macau public. TDM radio. My surname is wrong. And the policy address, you talk about setting up this investment fund. And could you give us more details? And just now, and my colleague had asked this question about municipal system and such a mechanism. Are you going to include some publicly elected members? And first of all, I again reinstate that, and all these are in line with the basic law, and it's going to be taken care of by the Secretary for Administration and Justice, and we will consult opinions widely. At the moment, I can only tell you that we are going to strictly follow Macau basic law, and we will make sure that everything will be transparent. We'll be very happy to listen to opinions. And this time, in the policy address, following my complaint platform, in the campaign platform, I indicated that I hope that we could set up a regional investment fund. You all remember that in the last government, over 5 years, we followed the principle of discreetly manage public fund, and now our reserve, the way we handle our fiscal reserve, which been approved by the Legislative Assembly. Our reserve include foreign exchange reserve, basic reserve, and surplus reserve. I am very happy to tell you that after we closed the account, we still achieve a surplus of 90.3 billion patakas. So we still have very good surplus, and we have to put it into good use. How to put it into good use? First, low risk. Second, can bring income, and especially to give support for future development. Therefore, we hope that we can set up an investment foundation. We will look at international practice. At the same time, we'll look at Macau's real situation. And this is going to be taken care of by the Secretary for Economy and Finance. And I can assure you that all our secretaries are going to be very transparent as they wish and very open as they introduce to you all these plans. Today, as you can see in my policy address, that we emphasize, we stress on freedom of press, freedom of speech, and I do hope that friends from the media are going to help us in achieving this goal. Mr. Chief Executive, in the policy address, you said you're going to look at the capacity of our system as we receive visitors to Macau. And you also mentioned this population policy. Do you have a timetable? As Macau's regular residents constantly on the increase, have you actually looked at Macau SAR's capacity in accommodating these people as well as travelers, visitors? We do have a research team to look at our population policy, and we have been doing lots of consultation. I believe that in the next 2 months, we will officially promulgate and announce our results related to population policy. And I do not have the statistics in front of me. However, now the regular residents in Macau has exceeded 600,000. And then as we reach 2020, Macau regular residents will exceed 700,000. And so we are going to work out our policy based on the statistics. Mr. Lau Bunlap, who is the director of this research team, will meet you and explain to you the findings and policy. And I believe that the results, the findings, will be ready to be presented to the public in 2 months. Because I needed the materials, I needed the statistics when I wrote my policy address. And now we look at the trend of increase in population, and that is the trend. Population policy is very important. And now I can tell you, we have actually received plans and reports from the Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture, and also the security forces have given us report to look at the capacity of Macau SAR, and I've also submitted a report to the central government. And my personal view is we should pay attention to the following points. And now we look at a city, the capacity of a city. We have to look at the capacity of our ports and also hotels, our software, hardware. As we look at our evaluation report, and certainly, of course, we have to look at our capacity. If, say, number of residents and also a number of visitors, if that goes beyond the region's capacity, residents' standard of living will go down, and also visitors to Macau are not going to enjoy their time here. So therefore, we ought to reach a kind of balance. travelers to Macau, we cannot look at the average, daily average. They will concentrate, they will come here, but there will be more visitors to Macau during holidays. It's seasonal. Therefore, we have to look at it scientifically. Last year, the Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture, also the security forces, have given us report, because that is very important to Macau as a SAR, and I myself will be very interested in taking part in the relevant work. Very importantly, the goal is to improve, is to guarantee the standard of living of our residents. At the same time, we ought to make sure that our visitors, the visitors to our region, will have a good time here. As you look at this individual traveler scheme, it was launched in July 2003. The backdrop was the SARS crisis. So that was a scheme from the central government, for the central government to give support to our region to send more visitors to Macau. And at that time, I was the Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture. And we got relevant to lots of authorities from the mainland. And now, and we started this individual traveler scheme. And now the scheme has been in operation for 12 years. So it's time to review, to see whether, still it's very useful. And there could be problems. And such a scheme's contribution to Macau's development is obvious, it's undeniable. Last time when I went to Beijing, as I report to mainland, to the central government about works in Macau SAR, it's been indicated that as we launch all the schemes to develop Macau into a world-class tourist center, we have to make sure that standard of living, quality of life Macau residents would not be undermined. We have to recognize the fact that we have to admit the fact that the individual traveler scheme has been very positive, has got very positive impact on Macau's development. And also we have got lots of support from the mainland. And you can also see that Macau people are very keen to give support to the mainland whenever there are natural disasters and so on. So when mainland travelers when they come to Macau, they have also brought in vitality to Macau's economy. So we are not looking at, as review the traveler scheme, individual traveler scheme. And we have to make sure that it's going to be a win-win situation. We shouldn't be talking about, we have to set what restriction to reduce the number and so on. And also as a world-class tourist destination, if you look at the source of visitors, mainland, Hong Kong, Taiwan represent over 90% of the visitors to Macau. So we shouldn't just only look at how many visitors to Macau. I cannot see anywhere around the world that do not welcome visitors and tourists. And of course, we should do more things to publicize Macau to attract international visitors so that we will eventually become a real world-class tourist destination. And that is going to be very important to a sustainable market, to a sustainable tourist industry. Of course, we have to be realistic and look at our capacity. And also since 10 years ago, IFT has been doing this kind of report related to relevant capacity, the capacity of the tourism sector every year. So we are going to be realistic. And today, I would like to take this opportunity to thank central government for its support to Macau SAR. Xinhua News Agency. Mr. Chief Executive, from Xinhua News Agency. In 2013, President Xi Jinping has talked about the strategic plan of the new Silk Road. And it's believed that relevant plan is going to be promulgated at the Boao Forum. And various sectors are going to benefit from it. And it looks like Macau representatives, delegates, are also very enthusiastic about it and believing that it's going to bring more opportunities to Macau. Could you sum up what new opportunities that the development of China overall has benefited Macau? And how are you going to make sure that all these strategic plans of our nation are going to bring new growth points for Macau SAR? Actually, I am very happy to hear about this news. Actually, I've heard it for the first time that at the Boao Forum that's going to open in a few days, I'm going to a Boao Forum as well. And that is going to, such a plan, such a scheme, a strategic plan is going to bring lots of opportunities for Macau's development. And I hope that I'm going to receive more information as I attend the forum. The central government has been giving steady support to Macau SAR. Macau has also been positioned as the last stop of this Silk Road, the Sea Silk Road. We very much hope that the central government, and after such a scheme is promulgated, that Macau will get a chance to actively take part in such a great project. And we do have our geographical position, which is a great advantage. At the same time, over a period of time, we are very clear that when China is doing well, Macau will do well too. So therefore, with enthusiastic, we'll be very happy to be part of this great project. It's for Macau as a platform. Well, yes, we have been taking active role setting up platform. However, if you can directly take part in the project, and that's even better than just being a platform. And that is going to bring Macau's advantages into full play. We very much hope that we can be part of this project. At the same time, according to relevant information, over 60 countries are going to send delegates to Boao Forum. We are very excited about this opportunity of taking part into a major project of a nation, a major project for the world. If the central government allows us, I will be very, very happy to be part of it. Portuguese media. I'm from TDM. My name is Rosa. And just now, Mr. Chief Executive said that we ought to have proper mechanism and measures to ensure healthy development of the real estate market. Are you going to have any measure to stop hot selling or prevent hot selling in the real estate market and speculation in the property market? Real estate is a very important sector in Macau's industry, and I think that you have heard me express opinions related to real estate market. And the last government has released a series of measures to ensure healthy development of the real estate market. And since last year, according to the statistics collected since last year, it's obvious that buying and selling transaction in the property market has slowed down. As for property prices, has been on the decline. And I believe that over a period of time, it comes to real estate market, I think you all are concerned whether these measures are going to be changed. At the moment, the SAR government still got no intention of removing these measures. And however, we're going to pay close attention to development in the real estate market. In the last 2 years, and I have expressed this opinion at various occasions that I thought housing prices are too high. And that has affected the quality of life of Macau people. So therefore, in my policy address, I had emphasized that we have to ensure healthy development of the housing market. We have to look at land supply. We have to look at the private sector's development. We hope that the market will be balanced and will have sustainable development. The real estate market is very important to Macau. For the time being, we have no intention of removing the measures aiming at combating hot selling in the real estate market. Now you've asked me, even as they are now, property prices are still too high. We have to look at the buying power of the Macau public. At that time, we look at the research center statistics. At that time, how many % of a household income to pay the mortgage, and I think at the moment it's too high. It has undermined the quality of life of Macau people. As the chief executive, in this 5 years, I'm going to do my very best to work with my team to solve housing problem. I also hope that the real estate market is going to enter a period of healthy development, healthy and balanced development. Mr. Chief Executive, my question is about the gaming license. And do you think that what would be the elements for the review? For example, you mentioned that you demand the casino companies should provide accommodation for non-resident workers. And also, how about smoking ban? This midterm review for the casino industry this year is going to be taken care of by the Secretary for Economy and Finance. We have also asked universities to do research. We have to look at the gaming operators and see whether they have fulfilled their promise. That includes in the development, there ought to be gaming element, there ought to be non-gaming elements. And just now you also talk about social responsibility. And actually, in the past, I had also very clearly indicated and also indicated in my campaign platform that casino companies need to take on social responsibility. That include providing accommodation for their non-resident workers and their families. At the moment, I still haven't received relevant information. They have actually the six casino companies have not raised any objection related to this demand. And I believe that Secretary Leung is going to be very transparent and open as he introduces his scheme to you. We very much hope that the gaming industry, as after some adjustment, they are going to achieve balanced and healthy growth, and that includes a balance between gaming element and non-gaming elements. It also have indicated the projects and Cotai. Even on Cotai, that ought to be a certain percentage of non-gaming elements in their development. We have referred to some gaming cities, for example, Las Vegas, and they gradually reach a kind of balance between gaming elements and non-gaming elements. If you look at the casinos in Macau, say look at the VIP room and the mass market, and now it looks like VIP is on the turnover is on the decrease, and while mass market on the increase. So that is achieving a kind of balance as well. As we look at internal, external factors, we believe that the gaming industry will enter a period of adjustment. As we look at this budget, our predicted income, the gross income, has been adjusted to 20 billion patakas, and that's based on the development in the gaming industry over the last 9 months. As we look at the budget, the adjusted budget, we can follow basic law and very discreetly manage our budget, and that is not going to affect all those schemes and projects aimed at improving Macau people's livelihood. All those promises we have made will be carried out. Mr. Chief Executive, my question is also related to gaming license. Now we are still talking about gaming industries. Gaming industry has entered a new period, and the government needs to look at the situation in 2015. According to existing statistics and figures, how long this period of adjustment is going to last, and how is it going to affect other projects of the government which are to be launched in the near future? Thank you very much for your question. If we take a macro approach, in 1999, when Macau returned to China, and then we go through this procedure of opening up, liberalizing our gaming industry. Now it has been over 10 years. And my team had looked at Macau's development since 1999. And Macau's gaming industry finally liberalized in 2004. And actually, very few people had managed to forecast. No one had ever expected such a rapid and enormous growth. So we look at the gaming industry's development, and you look at our economic structure. Gaming industry has brought in vast revenue to Macau. However, a few years ago, we'd already talked about save for the rainy day, and therefore we set up the scheme to save money for the entire Macau public. And I believe that now as it slowed down, it's not going to the slowdown in the gaming revenue growth is not going to affect our projects aimed at improving Macau's people's livelihood. We will be cautiously optimistic. I will also take this opportunity to enhance our infrastructure. We are very confident that with the support from the central government, when China is good, Macau will be even better. We'll take this opportunity to diversify Macau's industry. I would like to take today's opportunity to explain a bit further, looking at gaming component and non-gaming component. And after the effort we have made over the years, you can see that we've already achieved some result. And looking at regional integration, and I hope that through regional integration, we are going to further diversify our economy. So there will be more non-gaming component and less gaming component. We are still very confident about our future. We are cautiously optimistic. Fourth row, Isabel Kosu. I'm Isabel Costu from TDM Radio. My question is related to the municipal affairs municipal organization. Until 2001, there was a temporary municipal organization. Why you suddenly establishing a municipal organization again? What is your intention? Thank you very much for your question. This time when we again bring up this municipal organization, and that is because we have done research over a period of time. I also refer to the basic law, and that is we can actually set up an organ, and that is not an political power. It is perfectly legitimate. As for the municipal organization before the handover and the temporary municipal organization after the handover, and I think that they have completed their historical mission. They have served the Macau public. And after the Civic and Municipal Affairs Institute was established, and it had the power, and it has been working within its capacity over a significant period of time. And now the SAR government decided to activate relevant work in accordance with basic law. And however, what exactly is your question? What aspect would you like me to focus on? I think my trend of thinking, okay, after the temporary municipal organization had completed its historical mission, and that all this has got to do with basic law. I hope that in the future, within the provisions of the basic law, we hope that a municipal organization will be able to serve the Macau public better. The lady on the second row. Mr. Chief Executive, I'm from Macau Lotus Cable TV. I'm from Macau Forum. In 2005, the SAR government has already talked about renovating the old district. However, the works relevant project has been carried out very slowly. And so what new innovation we talk about urban renewal. So compare with this redeveloping old district, and what will be the difference? What do you want to achieve? I think as we look at the process of redeveloping old district, as you have said, it was too slow. The process was too slow. At that time, we submitted to the law, to the Legislative Assembly, and in the end, the government took the initiative to withdraw it, decided to withdraw it. And that has got to do with the three major laws: civic code, penalty code, and land law were promulgated. And the proposal related to redeveloping old district was outdated, so we withdrew it. In my campaign platform, and I mentioned this urban renewal concept. As you look at the redeveloping old districts process, and lots of professionals and also aspiring members from the community have put in lots of effort. However, the result was less than satisfactory, and the law had not been passed. In the future, to talk about urban renewal. On the one hand, is to revitalize old district. On the other hand, we try to get land supply to enhance the capacity of old district. We really, as we are sincere, we also are concerned with the fact that some of the buildings in the old district are deteriorating. And as for increasing land supply, we have this land reclamation plan. And the planning for the following reclamations will be released very soon. We need land for renewal. At the same time, for whatever land we have at the moment, in accordance with law, we try to make the best use of the land available. I hope that in the future, and all those businesses and residents in the old district, through this urban renewal, and they are not going to suffer loss. Instead, they will have a better living environment and better environment for running businesses. And I have reviewed the whole procedure, and I found that land supply is very important. Land resources is very important for our concept for urban renewal. So on the one hand, we need to look for land resources. On the other hand, we need to update our law. And at this moment, that's all I can talk about. Yes, in the past, yes, there had been in the past, what we had done was not satisfactory and is far from what we wanted to achieve. I'm from South China Morning Post. My question is still related to casino industry. In the policy address, you have indicated that you have to enhance supervision for the casino industry. You also mentioned employment. Do you think that employment opportunity will be do you think that employment could be a problem? And how about security? and gaming revenue is on the decrease. And do you think that if all this supervision is going to further undermine the development of the gaming industry and lead to further decline in revenue? Gaming industry in Macau has got a long history. Opening up Macau's industry has already been 10 years since we opened the gaming industry. And under our legal framework, we have been giving the casino industry adequate supervision, and the casino industry has been flourishing. As you look at relevant statistics, you can see that Macau's gaming industry already has got a very important role to play in the world arena. And now we can see that we have entered a new era. As we look at integrated projects, we will still very strictly follow our principle, that is balanced development of gaming component and non-gaming component. At the same time, we also try to seek diversifying Macau's industry and regional integration. If you ask me, I am very optimistic. It's over the last 10 years, a very rapid growth has brought us vast revenue, and that's laid a solid foundation for Macau's economy. And that would be the foundation for diversifying Macau's industry. Gaming industry over a long period of rapid growth. Are you worried about over-monitoring? I don't think Macau government has over-monitored, over-controlled the gaming industry. At the same time, our nations, central government has been keeping good communication with SAR government. I believe that as we enter the next stage of development, all this will be to the advantage of Macau. We shouldn't just look at 9 months decline in gaming revenue. We shouldn't be too worried about it. As we entered our midterm review, we hope that every measure is going to give support to Macau's position as a world-class destination. However, we must not deny that rapid growth in the gaming revenue, because of the rapid growth of the gaming industry, it has actually improved the non-gaming industries. For example, hotel, retail, finance, construction industry, hospitality, food and beverage, and all these and their quality has gone up. And also these industries, these non-gaming industries, have taken a bigger share in the overall economy. The non-gaming industry is representing a larger share in Macau's economy. Of course, there have been problems, and today in my policy address, I said that we have entered a period of consolidation, and I'm not worried that monitoring the gaming industry is going to undermine growth. The last question. My question is related to transport. On the policy address, you mentioned a few points to improve bus services and also to control casino shuttle bus and their routes. And this is not the first time the government mentioned these measures. And are you going to take any hardline policy related to bus services and controlling casino shuttle bus? Have you talked to casino companies? And actually, according to the reports that my colleagues submit to me about the result of their negotiation, and I think they're still very optimistic. Transport, of course, we cannot certainly. And especially as I was running for chief executive, and I received 11,000. I received 110 reports related to transport. In today's policy address, I very clearly indicated that we are going to strengthen our transport policy. For example, public transport first, and environmental friendly issue. Because in Macau, the largest source of pollution is vehicle. Therefore, these measures we are going to enforce relevant measures related to these areas. In the future, I'm sure that the Secretary for Transport and Public Work is going to give you more details. And how whether we need to control the number of vehicles and what control we're going to impose on vehicles and environmental friendly policy and public transport first. We attach great importance to this issue. Last question. Mr. Chief Executive, from Portuguese newspaper. Today, you mentioned that I'm going to launch this minimum wages policy. And different sectors got different levels when it comes to salary. And someone is saying due to technical issues and due to relevant legislation, to really fully implement this minimum wages policy, it will take 3 years. And could you give us more details? And why it will take 3 years before this policy can be fully implemented? When it comes to this minimum wages policy, the SAR government has very clearly indicated that we will actively implement it. We have already submitted a proposal to the Legislative Assembly, and that includes the sectors of residential buildings management and cleaning. And that has been approved already. We very much hope that relevant proposals will be accepted by the Legislative Assembly. Mr. Leung Wai-tak, Secretary for Economy and Finance, said that it will take 3 years to be fully implemented. And that is worked out after negotiation and meetings with employers, employees, and the government. As for the technical issue, first of all, there are 2 sectors that have been approved already, cleaning and residential buildings management. They already minimum wages for them, and that has been implemented already. I believe that in the next 3 years, eventually it's going to be expanded and covered to all sectors in Macau. And now 2 sectors have benefited from it already. And how and when it's going to be fully implemented, it very much depends on legislation. Once the legislations are in place, and it will be fully implemented. So I very much hope that legislation will speed up and will be in place as soon as possible. And Secretary for Economy and Finance is going to give you more details, and this is all I can tell you at this stage. And once we have the details, we will through the Government Information Bureau and with the Secretary of Economy and Finance to promulgate all these measures and details. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chief Executive, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen from the media.